I am firstborn.
Are you afraid?
A little.
Moses said that the lamb's blood will protect our house, that the destroyer will simply pass over and leave us unscathed. He hasn't been wrong before.
You're right. I'm being silly.
You're not being silly. It's okay to be afraid. I mean, Erin's scared shitless.
She is.
I mean, we're twins, but he was born first, so technically he's the firstborn. But I mean, he believes in Moses. They've been slaughtering lambs left and right, pinning doorposts across Goshen and even into Memphis, and Moses loves you. He would never put you in harm's way. I know this. And this is the last one. This is it. After this, it'll all be over and we can finally see the land of my ancestors. Canaan. I've only ever heard stories, but I've heard there are beautiful green pastures and mountains and flowers. See?
I'm never gonna see Midian again. Am I? I mean, I knew I wasn't going to. Moses and I talked about this before, but I am never going to see my home again. Ever. Ever.
You don't know that.
I do. Actually. It's all hitting me now. I'm never gonna see my father again. Or my little sisters. I mean, sometimes I wonder, did I make the right choice? I love Moses. With all of my heart, all my soul, all of my being, but sometimes I feel like I got in way over my head. I'm never going to see them. Ever again.
I'm so sorry.
Look at me, getting emotional. I don't do that. I don't do that. I am the one who holds people when they weep, not the other way around. I am the one who holds themselves together.
It's okay to fall apart.
And I look at Moses, and I see how afraid he is, how terrified he is of everything, how before he leaves the threshold, he must put on a brave face. He cannot let your people see the fear behind his eyes. He's worked too hard to gain their trust. And he can't let the Egyptians see the fear behind his eyes because he has to prove that he's stronger without them. I can't let him see me like
this. But what about you?
What?
Has he not seen you cry before?
Of course he has.
Then why can he not see you cry now?
I don't know.
Look, I understand, I get it, but you can let him see you break. You've let me.
I didn't want to let you see this either. I didn't want you to think that I've been ungrateful for the kindness that you've shown me as a stranger in your home, a stranger amongst your people.
Stranger? You're no stranger, Z.
Miriam, a year ago, you and I didn't even know each other. A year ago, I didn't even know you existed.
I could say the same about you, but you're not a member of this family.
I am nowhere near suffering as much as everyone else. I have my freedom. I could leave if I so choose to.
But you haven't.
Because I don't think I can ever go back. As much as I've wanted to. Sometimes I dream of Moses and I stealing away in the night, and I feel immense guilt. I could never leave you all behind. I could never leave you behind.
I thank God every day for bringing you into my life. My little bird, my Zipporah. You're shaking.
I know.
What's making you
I don't want to drop dead, Miriam.
None of us are going to drop dead. We are prepared.
For some reason, it feels like we never are.
They're coming. They're coming.
Who's coming?
The destroyer. Sippy, your face, have you been crying?
I'm afraid.
Me too. You and I, we got this, Laura. We got this. You both will be safe. I promise. It will simply pass over, and you both will be spared. I swear. I swear on my life.
You're shaking, Erin.
Every house in Goshen has been accounted for.
And as many as we could in Memphis, though some people would not let us. Some people
looked at us like we were monsters.
And screamed at us and blamed us for the ruin that we brought upon their nation.
But we gave them lamb's blood to put above their doorpost if they so choose to.
I hope they choose to.
How will we know when it happens?
A great cry will be heard throughout all of Egypt.
So many people are going to just drop dead.
But this is it. This is the last one, and the Pharaoh will relent. He has to. And it kills me that it had to come to this. I wish it didn't. God, I wish it didn't.
One genocide to avenge another.
When you say it like that,
But that's what it is. A genocide. And I'm not trying to defend Egypt because of them. You and I, Moses, we are only two of the few Hebrew boys left alive in our generation. I, just old enough to miss the cutoff of being called a
Don't
monster.
say cold. It makes it sound like livestock.
Are we not livestock to them?
I don't like how that word sounds.
Well, it's what we were. We were culled, or is massacred a better word for it?
That's what I was supposed to be.
But that's just what this is, a genocide, and no matter how many ways you try to slice it, even if you try to view it as justified vengeance, it still isn't right. As much as I loathe our oppressors, as much as my whole life I had wanted to inflict upon them what they had inflicted upon us, they do not deserve such a fate. I don't believe that anyone does.
You're right. It's wrong. It's horribly, horribly wrong. But we tried other methods. Even before the plagues, we tried. Diplomacy did not work. Bargaining did not work. Even the warnings of ultimatums did not work. And now we find ourselves in our best, worst case scenario. And though they may not see me as one of their own anymore, watching the people who raised me and loved me, watching them suffer and die, it cuts like a knife to my abdomen. And I mourn for my nephew, who will drop dead tonight. He did nothing wrong except be firstborn to a tyrant. I mourn for him. This is all rather bleak.
But it will be over after this.
Right.
At least it will all be over.
It will all be over.
And we can finally start living our lives. We can grow and prosper. Just think of it, Erin. We can finally start living our lives. We can start building a life for ourselves, for our people. I know it may be bleak now, but I wish our mother was here to see it. I wish she was.
I don't think that she would be proud of us, Mir. I think it would sadden her. I think it would frighten her.
I think she would be avenged.
You can't mean that.
I think it's horrible. Deplorable, but I think somewhere our mother's spirit is at hand.
That is a disturbing thought.
Love?
Just checking to make sure no one else is outside. Any moment now.
In the promised land, I would like to have an herb garden. A little herb garden and maybe some flowers.
And lavender?
Yes. and lavender, and maybe some jasmine, too.
If this doesn't work,
It's going to work.
say on the off chance that there's a fluke, and I don't know, I just drop dead. I just want to.
No one here is going to drop dead.
Can you just let me pour my heart out for a second?
Okay.
I love you, Moses. I never thought that I'd meet you again after our mother gave you up. I always thought our paths would cross, but you a prince, and I your slave. And though it all happened under these rather fucked up circumstances, I'm glad you are in my life. I'm grateful. And you, Sephora. I love you, Sephora. And I'm glad that you are a part of our family.
Do I not get a heartfelt speech, or?
I was just about to get to you,
Oh.
Miriam is stupid and ugly, and I hate her.
Very funny.
And wise. And kind. And hopeful. Far more hopeful than I could ever be. My dearest friend, my oldest friend, my Miriam, my sister, my beloved.
His heart grew 2 sizes today.
I could literally drop dead in a second here.
But nobody is going to drop dead. We are protected. We are protected. We are protected.
The air, it's cold and still. Is it over? Do you want me to go and ask in the midst of grief? Is that what you want me to do? Please. Do not make me do any more.